Okay, so yesterday we discussed about the tokens and about data types. Java has two different data types. One is primitive, other one is reference types. We have two types of data. One is primitive data and other one primitive data types. Then one more is reference data type. So we know that there are predefined data, that is nothing but primitive. Predefined data types are available, they are called as primitives. We have for integers, for floating point numbers, for character and for boolean, we have types predefined. So they are primitive data types. In the case of reference data types, they are called as classes. So the classes can be called as here reference data types. With the help of classes, you can create objects. So those objects are called as now reference data types objects. So reference data types you can create with the reference variables you can create using the class name, whereas primitive data type variable we can use the predefined primitive data we do. All primitive types are scalar types. They are going to be just scalar types. That means they are not aggregate, only single value we contain in that. Okay, even user also can define his own primitive type with the help of enum. Enumerations we have in that. Okay, so we have primitive as well as reference data types. So Java is so simple in fact. The types are not complex. So it's very simple language. Even syntax and everything is also very much expressive. So syntax, if you look at in other languages, you write 3 or 4 statements to accomplish one task. But in the Java, with single statement only, you can be achieving it. It's more and more expressive. Java language statements are more and more expressive. That means by just 1 or 2 statements, you can achieve so much. So that's why it is called as very much expressive also. Data types are also going to be very simple, primitive types as well as reference types. So reference types are nothing but object data. Whatever objects you reference, that is called as reference types. And primitive data is going to be characters, integers, then floating point data. One more thing is boolean. These are predefined types. We call them as primitive data. Okay, that can be called as primitive data. As far as primitive data types are concerned, we have these. Char type is primitive data, then byte is a primitive data, then we have short is a primitive data, long is a primitive data, sorry, int is a primitive data, then long is going to be another type of primitive data, one more is float, other one is double, the last one is here boolean. So this can be holding a true or false value. This can be holding a true or false values. These are the predefined data types available with the Java language. Okay, so it is available with the Java language. These are nothing but predefined types. Character type, byte type of data, short integer, integer, long integer, float, double boolean. Yesterday we discussed about these. Further, when you take a language, the language contains for us keywords, then similarly operators, separators, identifiers. Identifiers, as we were discussing, they are created by us. A class name can be identifier, a method name can be identifier, okay, an event name can be identifier, a field can be identifier. So identifiers are user invented words. A package name can be an identifier. Identifiers are user invented words. Whatever user creates, that is called as identifier, whereas the keywords are predefined. In the language, those words are available for their intended purpose. We must use the keywords. Then after keywords and identifiers, we have operators. Operators, they perform certain operations on the given data. As we know, we have different types of operators. Arithmetic, then we have relational, Then after that we have logic. This is logical operators. Then other thing is bitwise. Then similarly plus plus, minus minus, increment decrement operators. Then we have assignment operator. Then equality operator. So all these are going to be different types of operators for us. Plus plus, minus minus, equal, double equal. Then you have a question mark operator. It's called as conditional operation. You can perform with the help of the question mark. So these can be different types of operators we use in the Java language. When it comes to operators here, arithmetic, we have an addition operator, a subtraction operator, a multiplication operator, a division operator, then a remainder operator. Like this, here we have the arithmetic operators. When it comes to relational operators, we have greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, then similarly less than or equal to we have here. So this can be a relational operator. And in the case of logical, we have logical AND operator, then logical OR operator, and other one is logical NOT operator. We have these. Then apart from that, we have here a bitwise, like this it is. This is going to be bitwise AND operator. They work on the bits. Bitwise OR operator we have. Then bitwise exclusive OR operator also we have. With a cap we can have it. So like this, these are called as bitwise operators. They work on the bits of the given data. Similarly, we have here plus plus. By unity, you can increment. A variable can be incremented by unity. That is called as plus plus. You can decrement by minus minus. It's called as decrement operator. We have an increment operator. We have a decrement operator. Then equal is here an assignment operator. You can assign a value using equal symbol. So this is called as here assignment operator. So these are going to be different types of operators we use in the Java. So there can be more also. A question mark operator, a double equal operator. This is for conditional. This we are going to check for equality. In the left side of the expression, in the right side of the expression, whether the two are equal or not, we can find out with the help of the equality operator. With question mark operator, we can be, performing some selection. So it is called as here a ternary operator. This requires three arguments. This requires here three arguments. We try to evaluate an expression. The expression may be evaluating to true or false. With the help of question mark operator, we can find. So these are going to be different types of operators available for us. Arithmetic, relational, logical, sorry spelling is wrong here. Logical, then bitwise, then you have equal symbol. This is assignment operator, equality operator. Similarly, we have here not equality operator. You can compare for unequal. Both sides when they are not equal, in such cases that can be returning a true value for us. So like this, these operators we can be using on the given data. So to process data, sometimes we need to use these operators. Okay, so these operators we are going to use in the C language and sorry in the Java language. As far as the plus, minus, multiplication, division and percent are concerned, they follow here BODMAS rule. This is what brackets of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. Brackets have high precedence followed by this multiplication, division, multiplication. Then after that addition and subtraction, they have the precedence in evaluating the given arithmetic expression. They follow BODMAS rules. Okay, so let us try to now write some programs using these things. Here, in the case of Java program, as I was saying, the main method is the important method which launches our application. When you develop a console application or a Windows application, the main method is the starting point of the application. All other classes you need to instantiate from the main method. Main method is going to be the starting point of your application. Since Java is object oriented, every method you have to write within the class only. Outside the scope of the class, you cannot write method. Method cannot be existing independently. So method must be part of the Java class only. Okay, but we require some sort of mechanism with which we need to start application. So once application is started, other objects you can create. But how do you launch application? For that purpose, they gave a provision like main method. So using main method, we can be launching our Java application. Okay, so since Java is part of the class, to use normally the member of the class, you need to instantiate class, then you get an object. With the help of that object, further you can be manipulating. But see, main method is itself going to be starting method. Okay, how do you launch the main method? Without creating object, you need to launch there. How it is possible? Because since main method is a starting method, starting point, there only you can be creating all objects. If main method is a starting method, see, without creating object, if you can call main method, then that will be great. So that's why here main method is marked as static method. We can see here, we define it as static. So static meaning is what? Without creating object, you can invoke it. Without creating object, using class name itself, you can invoke it. That is called as a static method. Static methods mostly, they are helper methods. They are just libraries only. You don't create any object. Without creating object, the available library functionality you can use. So like that normally we define static methods. See, in Java everything must be part of the class. Therefore, whatever library you make, you have to attach with certain class. In the class, you can be defining it as a static method. So using class name and method name, then you can access it. Okay, so since Java is object oriented, methods cannot be existing independently. They must be always a part of the class only. So when you define a method in the class, the method can be an instance method or it can be a static method. When it is static method, then you can access them with the help of the class name followed by dot and method name. So that's why we have a provision for making the static methods. Now main method also we are marking as static method, but this is very important method and it's a special kind of method. So in whatever class you have main method, that class should be public class, and with the same class name you have to save the file. You must be saving the file with the same class name. So JVM, Java Virtual Machine, is going to find in which class exactly you have main method. So it's going to launch that class automatically and control will be handed over to main method. JVM, what exactly it does? It is looking for those classes in which you have main method. Okay, it identifies the class which has got main method. Then after that, it's going to start straight away the class. So once class is started, automatically control will be handed to the main method there. So main method is going to be getting control. So once control is with the main method, rest of the code it can execute. The main method is going to be executing the rest of the code. So that's why the main method is called as a important method. It's a special method which is going to start your application. So a main method is going to start your application, whether it is console application or Windows application, it is going to be the starting point. We cannot call because this is starting point. That leads to recursion. If you try to call a main method from other classes, that can be leading to recursion. So what will happen with that? Your program code will be becoming actually wayward. So there is no point in calling because this is the starting point. Again you are going to the beginning of it. Fine. So here therefore we have a main method which can be starting point of your application. All other classes must be instantiated in the main method, then only you should be calling it. So let us try to write a program. What program we write now? See in this. Initially we start manipulating data, numeric data. We work with the arithmetic operators. So we enter few numbers from keyboard. Then we try to perform arithmetic operations. We perform addition, we perform then subtraction, then we perform multiplication, we perform division, and we perform their remainder operation. Let us try to perform those 4 arithmetic operations first of all in this. For that purpose, we need to input data from keyboard. See, we need to input data from keyboard. When you input data from keyboard, it's going to be in the string format. For example, in the C language, when you were doing with the input, why I am referring C, the reason is all of you might have gone through the C language. When you are doing your bachelor's degree or master's degree, probably you have come across the C language. There you use a function called as scanf. You might have used scanf followed by certain things like %d or %f or %s or %c. Such things I think you have come across. So %d, %f, %s, you might have come across those things. With the help of that, what exactly we do? We convert the string into either decimal digits or floating point number, or into string or into character. You could convert. Whatever you enter from keyboard is going to be always in the sequence of characters. Sequence of characters are called as what? String exactly. It's going to be string. So whatever you enter from keyboard is going to be string. So therefore, we need to convert string into a number. Even if you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you may enter a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you enter from keyboard, Java is going to treat them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this one is a string. String always is mentioned in the double quotes. When you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from keyboard, Java is going to interpret it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with double quotes. That means whatever you enter from keyboard is going to be sequence of characters. Therefore, it will be treated as string. Now such strings you need to convert into here numbers. Without converting into numbers, you cannot do anything. If you enter something from keyboard, definitely that is going to be group of characters and string it is. That string we need to convert into numbers. Okay. So whenever you want to read data from keyboard, you need to be accessing keyboard. So for accessing keyboard in the Java, in the main method, there are 3 objects available for us. One is system.in. JVM knows about the system.in. The other one is system.out. Then one more thing is here system.err. We have these things: system.in, system.out, and one more thing is here system.err. This is nothing but system.err. System.in is nothing but keyboard. Using system.in, you can read data. With the help of system.out, you can be sending output to monitor. System.err also is going to send data to output. You take any programming language, by default, they should be supporting some streams. Normally in the C language or in the C++, 5 streams they get opened: system.in, system.out, system.prm, system.err, system.aux. So 5 streams automatically they get opened when you invoke a C language main method, or in the C++ when you invoke main method, 5 different streams they get opened. That is what stdin, stdout, stderr, stdprm, and stdaux. So here also in the Java, JVM knows about these things. As soon as you start your application, JVM makes the application available of these classes, these objects here. It is system.in is nothing but stdin. Stdin is nothing but here console, keyboard that is. Console means a monitor can be console, a keyboard can be console. When you give input, console is going to be keyboard. When you see output, the monitor is going to be console for us. stdin is what? It's a console. Similarly, stdout is also going to be a console. This is called as what exactly? stdout. Standard output device, we say that. Standard output device is always going to be monitor. Standard input device is going to be keyboard. Standard input device is called as keyboard. Standard output device is going to be monitor. Because we interact with computer using the standard. Standard in the sense when nothing is available, you can use them. stdin, stdout, and whenever there is any error comes up, it goes into stderr. So this is nothing but again monitor only. Even this is going to be here monitor. So like this, you have predefined objects: system.in, system.out, system.err, stdin, stdout, stderr. These objects are available for us. Okay. So from keyboard, you may enter a number. So then who is going to be handling that? You enter some data, system.in is going to be handling it. Like sequence of characters, it's going to be reading for us. Similarly, system.out is responsible for printing something on the monitor. On the screen, you need to print something. So who is responsible there? System.out is responsible. Similarly, the program may sometimes give us some kind of errors. So when you get errors, runtime errors you get. Runtime errors are, program comes to a grinding halt in such cases. Further what to do, it's going to be in a confusion. Such errors are called as exceptions or runtime errors. Something like this. You're trying to save into disk, but there is not enough space in the disk. What to do in such cases? It's a confusion. Okay. Similarly, you're trying to read data from a CD-ROM, but CD-ROM is not ready. It's nothing but exception. You're trying to send an email using internet. your internet is not connected properly, or whatever file you are trying to upload too big. So file uploading, there you have some kind of limitations, or you are trying to send an exe file with Gmail. So all these can be called as some kind of errors, runtime errors we can say it. They are nothing but runtime errors. So runtime errors you can catch and you can show on the monitor. It's called as stderr. Okay, in the Java you have two types of exceptions. One is checked exception, other one is unchecked exception. Checked exceptions are, see, whenever you are invoking method, the methods may be throwing exception. That is called as a checked exception. You have some kind of statements. They may not be showing you any error, but they can be inducing some kind of runtime errors whenever you try to execute. Such things are called as unchecked exceptions. You have checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions. One more thing is going to be error. Error is something like sometimes computer is falling short of heap memory. Sometimes it falls short of stack memory. So such things are called as actually errors. We cannot do anything with errors. A programmer cannot do much with the errors. Programmer cannot control such errors, because it's going to be depending totally on the JVM. It's going to be depending on the underlying hardware. So it is not in the control of the programmer. Errors are not in the control of the programmer, whereas checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions can be handled by the programmer. So while writing code itself, they can handle it. So we have to be careful in handling the exceptions. So one is what checked exception, other one is unchecked exception. Okay, so here that's fine. So here what we do, we try to input data from keyboard. When you enter data from keyboard, they are going to be like sequence of characters. So system.in can give you one character at a time only with the help of read. Using read, you can read only one character at a time. You can just read only one character at a time. But you may have to enter more than one character, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ultimately that you have to convert into integer. So for such purpose, we use here two different classes which are predefined. One is input stream. The other one is going to be here buffered reader. We have these two things. With the help of this, we can be performing the required operation. So input stream reader we have here. With the help of input stream reader, we can be handling it. Then similarly, with the help of the buffer reader, we can handle these things. We can be reading data from keyboard. Then after that, whatever data is coming, we can buffer it. Then from buffer, we can be converting it into required kind of data. So using these, we can be doing it. So let us try to do with the help of the input stream as well as here buffered reader. With the help of that, let us try to achieve it. So with the help of these, we can be handling actually input data. Then with the help of the system.out, we can be outputting it. So we discuss more and more about this input stream readers, buffered readers with the file IO. But in the beginning, we require some sort of mechanism. With the help of that, we'll be reading numbers. Then we have to convert that into appropriate data. It can be character, it can be integer, it can be floating data. We are going to convert. So for that purpose, we use these classes. Okay. Further, as I was saying, whenever you enter data from keyboard, it is going to be in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 format. Then how do we convert this into number? In the C language, you have something like %d, %f, %l, %c, %s. With the help of that, we can convert into different types of data. So here also, you have a provision that you can do with the help of the wrapper classes. Wrapper classes are something like this. You have an integer. For integer, equivalent class you have here. This is called as integer. The dot we have here parse int. With the help of this, we can convert a string into integer. If you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this can be converted to a number, integer that is. So it's called as what? Integer dot parse int. Similarly, we have here float. In the case of float, we have here float dot parse float. It can convert a float data into float. It can convert string into floating point data. Similarly, we have here long. A long can be doing like this. Long dot float data. Here it is. Sorry. Parse float. It can be parse long. It is. It can be converting into long data. Similarly, we have here char. In the case of char, we have character. dot, it is going to be here parse char. Like this we can be converting different types of data. These are called as here wrapper classes. Integer is a class, int is primitive type. Whenever you want to convert the primitive to object type or object type to primitive, you can use their wrapper classes. These are called as wrapper classes, which are already available for us. We can use them. So with the help of integer.parseInt, the given string can be converted to integer. Suppose you give like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this can be converted. But here, if you give something like here ABC 1, 2, 3, it cannot do that. Reason, it's containing alphabets. ABC 1, 2, 3 cannot be converted to number. If you try to convert like that, it's nothing but exception. It's a runtime error. The parseInt cannot convert such things. It's a string here, it contains ABC and 1, 2, 3. So when you have only digits, it can convert. When you have here alphabets like this, you cannot convert that. It can't be converting ABC 1, 2, 3. Same with the float also. Suppose you give here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dot, you have 5, 6. This can be converted to a floating point number, but when you give here something like 1, 2, 3, CB dot FG, like this when you give, it cannot convert into a floating point number. So we need to be careful while performing these conversions. So whenever you try to convert the string into numeric data, in the given string you should have only digits, there should not be any numbers, any alphabets. When you have only digits, in that case they can convert into numbers, but when you contain the alphabets, definitely they give error for us. They are going to give error in such cases. So therefore here we need to be taking care of that, and in such cases we should be using them in the try catch block. Using try catch, we can be handling exceptions. See, in the latest programming languages, the modern programming languages, something like Java or C# or say Ruby language. Which one, Uday? Yes. So here parsing is nothing but the given string should be converted to number. We have to convert into number this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is taken as string. Okay, whenever integer.parseInt is trying to convert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into number, it can convert properly. But whenever it encounters here ABC 1, 2, 3, it cannot do it. Reason, it's containing here alphabets. There is no alphabet equivalent of digit in the numbers. Therefore, this ABC 1, 2, 3 cannot be converted to numbers. So therefore, it is going to throw exception. It is going to throw exception. You should put this in the try catch block. Try catch blocks are nothing but actually, they are mechanism. With the help of that, you are trying to execute some piece of code. Due to any reason, if code cannot be executed, the application should not crash, should not fail. Safely you have to come out from that. So with the help of the try catch blocks, you can be handling the code. Code may induce any kind of exception or error at any time. It depends on the user input, or it depends on number of factors. So whatever type of problem it may be, the code should not crash, system should not be crashing totally. Safely you have to come out from problem. For that purpose, you have to use try catch block. With the help of try catch block, what happens? Whenever the program is unable to execute some piece of code, it can at least send the control outside the code execution unit. From the code execution block, the control can be sent to outside with the help of the try catch block. Whenever it's in a confusion, whenever it cannot proceed further, in such cases, forcefully it can be sending the code, the control to the outside the try block. So like that, you can actually handle the runtime errors. With the help of the try catch block, we can be handling exceptions. Exception is nothing but runtime error. When you compile code, at that time everything is successful, but when you try to execute, at that time you get error. That is called as runtime error. So runtime errors we can handle with the help of the try catch blocks. We have here try and catch blocks. With that we can be handling. So therefore, today we are going to discuss about the inputting of data. Then similarly, catching exceptions we are going to see. Though this is very first program, we are going to do that because we need to input data from keyboard. For that purpose, we need to use here input stream as well as buffer reader. With the help of that, you can do it. So let us try to do that now. So here what we do, whatever data is entered, we try to convert into a number. When it's unable to convert into number, it should show as appropriate message. Due to some reason, it could not be done. You should throw exception there. You have to catch the exception. You should get appropriate message. What is the reason why code could not be executed? So you can be finding such information with the help of the try catch blocks here. So let us try to write code now. So this one is what second project we make here. We say this as second application. Finish. Okay, so here I can go with a new class. But before that, just a minute. What I do? So come to this code here. This is what exactly second class we try to make this, or else input data input. Class name is going to be here data input. This contains here a main method. We check this one. This is going to be containing main method, and this class is what exactly? A public class. We are going to make it as a public class. This contains a main method. You can check this. This is containing here main methods for us. Click on finish. So it is creating a new class for us. It's called as data input. We can call this as here data input, and here just paste this code here. So we need to create these two classes, input stream reader, then buffered reader. So input stream reader and buffered reader we take here. For that purpose, we should have package reference, or else you should use fully qualified name. Either we can use fully qualified name, or we can use here the reference on the top. Using import, you can be having there the package reference, or here itself also you can be specifying fully qualified name. So for this class, what I use, I am going to use the reference, and for this I'll use fully qualified name. So here use this import here, write it java dot, then io dot, I can put here io dot, then here I write input stream reader, java input stream reader, I can be making it java dot io dot input st is missing. Okay, input stream reader. Now there is no error with this. Here I added reference, then I can use a class. But in the case of this one buffered reader, I want to use fully qualified name. Here see, it's importing java.io.input stream reader. So input stream reader class now I can use here like this. But here I did not have any reference for the buffered reader. I want to use here fully qualified name. Put here therefore java dot, then io we can use. The dot you put here, buffered reader comes, and here again you should write java dot, then io dot buffered reader. Like this I can make now. So this concept is called as here fully qualified name. The top level package, then sub package, then in this whatever class is there, we can refer like this. Here I did not put anything like import java dot io dot buffered reader. Though I did not put that, I can instantiate class like this. But without this, without java.io, if you try to put buffered reader, it gives error there. I just remove it. What happens? See in this. As soon as I deleted that, it shows for you buffered reader cannot be resolved to a type. This compiler is not understanding it. Where this is available, in what package it's available, it's in a confusion. When you put the package name properly, it will not have any confusion. So therefore, try to put here java dot, then io dot here buffered reader, br equal to new java.io.bufferedReader ISR. Like this we can set it. So this is now referring actually the input stream reader. It is referring here input stream reader. So with the help of this now we can be reading data from the keyboard. Then here we write like this: system dot out dot println, system dot out dot println. Then here write, please enter a number. Like this I say it, please enter a number. So this way I am trying to specify that please enter a number. This is the prompt we are going to get on the screen for us. On the screen we get this prompt. When we get this prompt we can be inputting numbers. But where to take, what are the different containers to store those numbers? Declare here int a, then b we take like this. So int ab, instead of this what we do, we try to calculate some kind of simple interest in this. Let us try to calculate simple interest. Therefore here write, please enter principal amount. Principal amount we say like this. Let us declare variables here. The amount is going to be int pa. Next float, here it is ROI, rate of interest. Then here float, you put this as duration. Like this we can be taking, or period it is. So we declared here three different set of variables now. We need to input now data for the first of all principal amount. Okay, if you try to write like this, PA equal to, now buffered reader we have br dot read line. If you try to put read line, using read line we can be reading from the keyboard. You type characters, at the end of that when you press enter key, it will be sent to the buffered reader. So from buffered reader we are going to read the data. So when you press enter key, in that case what happens? The reading operation will be completed. So if you try to take here read line, what happens? See in this. If you put like this, it gives error. As I was saying you have checked exception, you have unchecked exception. Read line is defined as like this. If you move mouse pointer over it, what it says here, type mismatch cannot convert string to int. This is okay. So before this we have to write integer dot parse int. We can put like this. Parse int we can put this way. Then after that try to make like this. Okay. This way let us try to put. Still it's giving error for us. Reason, if you move mouse pointer over read line, it says unhandled exception type IO. Okay, what exactly it's doing here? Whenever you take read line, that may throw exception. It should be here, throwing exception. That means what? Whenever you try to read data, there can be sometimes error can be coming up. So like that, it is actually throwing exception. Therefore, such methods you have to catch with the help of the try catch blocks. This is what exactly a checked exception. We can call this as checked exception because this method is it throws exception. Due to some reason, there can be runtime errors. So therefore, if you try to write like this, it's nothing but a problem for the computer or for the program. Therefore, you must handle this with the help of the try catch blocks. Such exceptions you can call as checked exceptions. Come to this point, then put a try here. Okay, then here now close the try block, then followed by catch, you put here, then exception ex. Like this we can keep it. This way we made. Now all the errors they disappeared. And one more advantage with the Eclipse is, as you type, what happens here? Automatically it can be converted into code. As you start typing, it's getting converted to here the bytecode file. Whatever you type here, it automatically gets converted to bytecode file. As soon as you finish a sentence here, it's getting converted to bytecode file. So this is the beauty of the Eclipse. On the fly it is compiling. It's going to compile the code. We need not wait to finish all the code, then we need not compile at the end. So as you type, automatically code is getting compiled for us and you get the bytecode file. So this also improves our productivity. We need not compile separately, automatically this gets compiled for us. Okay, so here what we have written, PA equal to integer dot parse int br dot read line. We are reading for the principal amount. Now next thing we take. Next is what we need to read here, the ROI. Okay, that is fine, but when we calculate here simple interest, where do we put it? For that purpose, I declare here float followed by this is SI. I can declare it's nothing but simple interest. I create here a variable called as simple interest. Into that we can save data. Now what is written? We have written PA equal to integer dot parse int br dot read line. You can be reading a line of data into principal amount. Okay, so next thing here, what we do is we can read data for the rate of interest. Here write system dot then out dot println. Here you enter, please enter rate of interest. Rate of interest. Like this we take it. Now we enter here rate of interest. So this is nothing but prompt. It is reminding us to enter rate of interest here. So let us try to enter ROI. ROI equal to whatever data you enter from keyboard. It may be in the floating point form. So therefore ROI, you should get ROI value with the help of the wrapper class there. Write it float dot, this is here parse float we have here. With the help of parse float we can be doing it. From where we are reading data, from keyboard we are reading, therefore write it as br dot again read line. So with this we can be reading data. Put a semicolon here also. After that we have to read now duration. Duration also we should be reading, therefore here write system dot out dot println. Here write please enter duration. Like this write it, please enter duration. Then here once again you need to be converting it. Duration equal to, here this is again float only we use, float dot parse float. You can put again parse float. Then here you can specify this as br dot read line. You can be reading with this br dot read line, you put a semicolon here. Like this we are finding the duration in this. Okay, we find out, we retrieve data, we enter data from keyboard for principal amount, for rate of interest, for duration. Now we need to get the simple interest. Take here SI equal to, we calculate now here PA multiplied with ROI multiplied with then duration divided by 100, we calculate like this. At the end of this we are going to now print it. So what do we print in this? We write like this, system dot then out dot println followed by here write the principal amount is, the simple interest is, we put plus here followed by SI we put. Like this we concatenate the strings with the help of the plus there. So SI is getting automatically converted to string and that can be concatenated, we can get the result there. Okay, so this way we entered, we can enter numbers, we can enter principal amount, then we can enter here rate of interest, we can enter duration, then we can calculate simple interest and we can show. But due to any reason, if you get exception, we can put here that one. Right, system dot out dot println. Here write it, cannot complete task there is a problem with the data format. There is a problem with the data format. Like this we can give here kind of message. We can be printing message like this. Now it can be working for us. So try to run. I think duration we have given. Duration equal to float dot parse float br.readline. We have given this one. Duration is given. P calculate now SI equal to PA multiplied with RY multiplied with duration divided by 100. So try to execute this now. It says in the bottom of the screen, it says enter principal amount. I enter 5,000. Next, rate of interest 4.5 I give here. The next thing is what duration 5.5 I give like this. It says here simple interest is 1237.5. It's giving like this the output. So when you enter everything correct, this kind of message you are getting. Now come to once again run this here and try to see what exceptions you can get. Enter 5,000, then enter here 5.5. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
What's the use of input stream reader here?
See, how do you read from keyboard? With system.in.read, you can read only one character. With the help of the input stream reader, continuously you can be inputting data. So it's a wrapper. It's actually a class. Here we are piping this mechanism. Piping meaning is system.in. We are putting around that particular system.in. For keyboard, we are putting some kind of wrapper here. So with the help of the system.stream input stream reader, we can be reading data like a stream. Stream, we have IO streams, input stream and output stream. We read a stream of data with the help of the input stream reader. Otherwise, it's going to be only one character. When you take system.in, you can read only one character. So with the help of the system.in, you can read number of characters here. We can read number of characters like a stream. All that stream you can redirect to here, buffered reader. Into the buffered reader, all the stream goes in the buffer, it will be getting saved. So whenever you press enter key, that can be transferred to the concerned variable there. So to read like stream of data, we use here input stream reader. File IO you can do with the help of the streams only, either input or it can be output here. So with the help of the input stream reader, we are actually getting connected to keyboard. From keyboard, whatever data is coming in, like a stream, we are taking it. So here this is enter rate of interest, then followed by here duration, we give something like 7.8. 7.8 I don't give, 7.8 I give. Now in such cases it says cannot complete task. There is a problem with the data format because 7.8 cannot be converted to here a number. You can't convert it to floating point data. So what happens with this? This can be a problem. See, further we discuss when we do with the IO in detail about all these. Now otherwise we get deviated to somewhere else. So that's why we are trying to do with numbers here. You assume that with the help of input stream reader, buffered reader, you can be reading data like this. When we discuss about IO, at that time we can have discussion on streams. It is input streams, output streams, then character streams are available, byte stream, buffered streams are available, file streams are available. We'll be discussing about all those in detail whenever we do with the IO. When we do input output operations at that time, we can discuss. Okay, so that others will not have confusion with that. Here what we do, with the help of this, we are trying to read data from the keyboard in this. We read data from keyboard, then here we are calculating simple interest and ultimately we are displaying it. In this process what happens, you may enter here some, improper data. You may enter something like this here, say 7.8 when I entered, what happens here? It is invalid data, this can't be converted to a number, therefore it is showing here exception. Such things can be called as runtime errors. We handle here runtime errors with the help of that. What is happening here, it's unable to process further, therefore it is coming to this point and it can be showing as error for us. So here we input data for three numbers, principal amount, rate of interest, then other thing is duration. Now using them we calculated simple interest and ultimately we are displaying it here. We can display like this here. So this is about a simple program with which we are reading data from the keyboard, then ultimately we are displaying on the output device. So for reading data simply from keyboard, then to display, to calculate and to display result on the screen, we have written this code. So here we are using system.in, from that we are reading data. Then similarly, we have used here the wrapper clauses to convert the string into number. Whatever strings are available, to convert it into number, we can use here parse int if it is integer data, parse float in the case of the floating point data. So like this you can be converting, then you calculate simple interest and display here. So like this the program is going to be working for us. Any questions on this?
So, yes, Sridhar, if we don't give a catch, does this whole code gets crashed?
Yes. First of all, it will not compile. Reason, parse this br.read line, it is throwing IO exception. This is called as what exactly? Checked exception. This is called as a checked exception. If you don't put try, first of all, the compiler itself will throw error for us. This is called as compile time exception also, we can say. It's not runtime exception, it's a compile time exception. When you try to compile itself, at the time itself, it's going to be not getting compiled. So your bytecode file creation is not complete in such cases. Reason, it's a compile time error itself or compile time exception. Compiler cannot compile such things. Here br.read line, if you move cursor over read line, this may throw exception. Some, unwanted data if it's coming, in such cases what happens, that may be throwing some kind of exception. So it may not be in a position to read properly data, even in that case also exception. So therefore it has to be catching the exception, because this is a compile time exception and it's called a checked exception. So therefore at the time of compilation itself it should be properly handled. Otherwise the code cannot be getting compiled first of all. When code is getting compiled, when you try to execute at the time, we can talk about crashing. But first of all, code cannot be getting compiled. Let me remove here the try catch and see what happens in this. I just comment catch here. Similarly, I try to comment here try. What happens in this? See, unhandled exception type IO exception. So in this also it says unhandled exception type IO. This is also what unhandled exception type IO exception. So you must handle the exceptions for these. For read line, you must be handling exception. You have to be ready for catching exception. It may throw some sort of exception. Therefore, you have to be ready that you can be ready with the help of the try catch block. If you remove here try, if you remove here for the catch, then in such cases, it is now everything is correct. All the errors they disappeared. So here these checked exceptions are available at the compile time. Compiler first of all will not process such things. That means it can't convert the given code into bytecode file. So this is a very good security mechanism as far as Java is concerned. So it is not leaving us at the mercy of the OS. So here what is happening? It is checking first of all for the exceptions. Wherever possible, wherever there is a possibility of exceptions, that you have to handle properly. Otherwise, code will not be getting compiled. So this is called as actually strict, very strict Java in these aspects. So that's why we call it as Java is secure, Java is simple. It's very simple, at the same time it's going to be secure. You use some Java buzzwords. Java is simple, Java is secure, Java is robust, Java is object oriented, Java is network driven, so Java is web based. Like that we use certain buzzwords. So buzzwords meaning is going to be like this here. It is very simple, at the same time very much secured. Secured meaning is what? Your application is not going to crash. Under no circumstance it will not be crashing. Yes, Uday? Hello?
Can we also handle the unchecked exceptions with the catch block?
Yes,
Can we able to handle that?
Even you need to handle like that only. Unchecked also you have to handle like that. Come to this code. Let us try to print something this day.
All types of
System dot
okay.
right out dot println. So here let us see here. What happens? You come to this point, catch part. After this, what I do? I would like to print something like this. System dot out dot println. Then try to write here something like 10 by 0. What happens with this? See here. It is not showing any exception, but this is exception or not. When you put like this system.out.println, system will crash now in such cases. It's going to crash. So try to run this. I enter here amount, something like 345, then I enter here something like 3.4, then I enter here 5.6 like this. But after this, it's crashing here, see, exception in thread main, divide by 0. This is what exactly? Arithmetic exception. So this is not called a checked exception. This is called as runtime error. This must be handled by the programmer. Such instructions must be handled by programmer. Here understood differences. When you go to the read line, for read line how it is written, throws IO exception. That is called as a checked exception, and this one is called as here unchecked exception. This you have to handle properly. Otherwise, system will crash. Here this simple application, there is no problem with this. But when you write applications which are meant for real-time production, so in such cases, if such exceptions they occur, whatever unsaved data is there, you may lose. You are forced to reset system. So that you are going to lose a lot of data. If you are losing data, then there is no point in having the application. See, in the case of computers, neither hardware nor software, they are precious, nor human beings. Data is very, very precious. Once you lose data, you cannot get data. It's not so easy to get data. So nowadays people are buying data like anything. They are buying data. So with the data, they are earning a lot. They are doing wonders with the data. So whenever you capture data, you have to save it. Okay. So data is going to be very, very important. If you are losing data, there is no point in running the application. So neither hardware nor software nor human service are precious when compared with the data. Ultimately, we use computer for data only, for processing data and for saving data we use. Now let us handle this way here. You can put a try block here, followed by, you can put here catch block. You can put here catch block. So here what you can write? You can write like this, arithmetic exception. This time you can put it arithmetic exception AE we put here like this. This can be what exactly? Arithmetic exception. You can be handling here code now. So you can put error system dot then out dot println exception with arithmetic operation like this. You can put a message in this way. So therefore, this is called as arithmetic exception. Now system will not crash in such cases. It just prints it exception with arithmetic operation. Enter some number 457 followed by, I enter here some 3, then I enter here 5. So it says it's calculating 68.55, that's fine, but it says exception with arithmetic operation. Spelling is wrong. Okay, so it is what arithmetic operation, it's giving like this. So second one is called as here, this one is called as a unchecked exception. This one can be called as unchecked exception, but this is what exactly? Checked exception. At the time of compilation itself, we know about the exception, but for this, at the time of compilation, we don't know. In the runtime, these can be occurring. So exceptions can be three types, as I told you. One is checked exception, second thing is unchecked exception, one more thing is called as error. Fatal error, we say that. See what happens, the heap may not be sufficient, the stack area may not be sufficient for us. So such exceptions are really not in our control. We cannot do anything in such cases. It is the responsibility of the administrator, so the person should take care of those things. But unfortunately, what happens these days, everything is kept on the programmer's head. For everything, programmer is responsible, they say like that. It is something like actually, it's something like police department. When something goes wrong in the society, first of all, police are blamed. Whether it's their mistake or not, first of all, they are blamed. They are not taking care, there is no security like that, they say. But on close scrutiny, we can come to a conclusion that the problem is where exactly it is. Same thing with the development also. If user is not in a position to use it properly, it's programmer problem only, they say. Okay, when system resources are not enough, in that case also programmer is the scapegoat. So these things happen with the programmer, but on close scrutiny, they can come to conclusion. Everything is kept on the programmer head only. So he is the center point of all the things. That's why as much as possible, we should write neat and clean code, better code we have to write. And one more thing, readability you always have to improve. whatever code you write today, so you should put proper comments wherever it's possible. From time to time you have to be putting comments. So with those comments, if somebody else is reading, if somebody else is reading your code, they can actually understand very easily. The readability factor is very, very important. People think that if somebody is reading and understanding, they copy, they do something like that, they think. I don't think so, because if you are capable of reading someone else's code, you definitely can write that piece of code. Nobody actually, a programmer who has actually that kind of self-respect cannot be copying somebody's code. But here, if you maintain comments, what happens tomorrow? Something has to be enhanced. You want to add some new functionality to existing code, easily they can be doing that. So readability factor is therefore very, very important in the case of writing code. Readability, reliability, then adaptability, extensibility are the 4 important factors with the code. You need to maintain these 4, then that can be called as a better code. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are writing code with the help of this. We are reading data from the keyboard for integers as well as for floating point numbers. In this process, we handed here checked exception. Even we handed here one unchecked exception. Just for the sake of example, here we have written it. System.out.println 10/0, just to demonstrate how checked exception and unchecked exceptions are different. For that purpose, we have written it. Otherwise, there is no relevance of printing 10/0 in this program. Okay, so here we are parsing data with the help of the wrapper classes, integer, float. These are called as wrapper classes. With the help of that, we are parsing it. Then we are printing the simple interest. So here, like this, the code we have written today. Any questions on this? I'll share some material also with you, but will you find time to go through that? I can even give you assignments, but will you have time to do those assignments? So because in many sessions I used to give assignments, no one used to respond properly. So then after that I stopped giving the assignments. Assignments actually, if I give assignments, they may take time. Assignments you should do at any cost. If you do assignments, definitely you will have a good learning curve. Whatever assignments we give, they may be totally new to this coding. They may be totally new. You have to explore, you have to do some R&D, then ultimately you have to do. With that, you learn it better. You understand the difficulty in doing assignments and doing coding also tomorrow. And whenever your code is giving errors, you learn more and more when compared with code which does not give any error. Definitely there should be more and more errors in your code. So if you solve those errors, then it is nothing but learning. That is proper learning. I can give you assignments. I can be sharing from time to time assignments. You have to do that. So you should not be, you can come back to me, but totally you should not be depending on that. If you cannot do that at any cost, if you can do, I can give you such assignments. Okay, you should try to do maximum. It cannot be like just in one click you cannot achieve it. It takes time. It may be taking sometimes 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. You should have a passion to solve it. Then in that case I can give you the assignments. I am a solution architect. I am not just a trainer only. I am a solution architect. I architect solutions. Okay, with database related, with different technologies also I work with .NET, I work with Java. So in recent times we developed one streaming server with Red5, Java based server, that is Red5 server. So with that we developed some audio video charting. So I architect solutions. So from those solutions I can be giving sometimes some problems. If you solve, definitely they may be useful to you. Depending on your interest actually. Otherwise some of you may feel it's boring. So why all this? He can finish simply the sessions. That's all you may feel. Depending on your interest actually. If you do assignments, then definitely it will be good. Something you have to say?
No, ఒక కొత్త అసైన్మెంట్ ఇచ్చే వాళ్ళు ఇక్కడ న్యూ అసైన్మెంట్ లైక్ అందులో గ్లిచెస్ ఇచ్చేసి అది ఆ గ్లిచెస్ సాల్వ్ చేస్తే మొత్తం అసైన్మెంట్ సాల్వ్ అంటే ఒక 3-4 రిజల్ట్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో దట్ వీ కెన్ రన్ ద కోడ్ అండ్ రన్ ద కోడ్ రన్ చేయడానికి కూడా అందరికీ సార్
అటువంటి ఇవ్వగలుగుతా. కాకపోతే అసైన్మెంట్ అంటే బేసికల్గా ఎట్లుంటుంది అంటే చాలా టఫ్ ఉంటాయి అసైన్మెంట్స్. ఇక్కడ నేను ఓఎసిటీ అని ఒకటి
అంటే స్టార్టింగ్ అంటున్నాను శ్రీధర్ గారు.
ఐ గివ్ లైక్ దట్. బట్ కొంచెం టఫ్ అసైన్మెంట్స్ చేయగలిగితే బెటర్. Yes, I'll give like that. I'll send you. But try to share your email ID, please. This is my email ID. You can share. You can just send your email IDs to this, so I can be sharing with you.
Okay, okay, sure, sure.
In a loop, I can be keeping it. Everyone receives. Okay, just email. Just ping to my email ID. Then it can be. I mean, already Uday's your email ID is with me. Okay. I'll share today's video also. Of some time I shared it because for processing it takes time. Thank you, Uday. I mean, if you type here, myself becomes actually yes, please, yes, Bengal. What is the question?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Hello,
Yeah.
yes, please.
Like my question is, like you said that there are two kinds of methods, right? One is the static and the other one is instance, right?
Yes.
So how does a developer know whether he need to make that method as static or instance?
See, you write an instance method whenever you have to process data of the object. For example, you have a point class. Example I am saying. A point class has there an x coordinate, y coordinate. Okay. Suppose in which quadrant the point x and y you need to find out. Therefore, in such cases, you may write a method called as find quadrant. Therefore, it's going to work straight away on the data of the object. If it's working straight away on the x and y, in such cases, you can be using their instance method. Instance methods, they are going to work on the data of the object. Okay, but
Okay.
the class methods or static methods, they are going to work like a library. Suppose you want to make some library, that library you want to use with number of things. In such cases, what you do? You write a static method. Whereas instance method is what exactly? It is going to work with the data of the object. Suppose you want to find out area. You cannot write area as actually static method because if you take two different circles, circle 1 you have, circle 1 and circle 2 you have there. So in the case of circle 1, what happens? It has one area, circle 2 has another area. So therefore area must be instance. The method must be instance method. Okay. So the area must be instance method. But static methods also something like you have something like actually static method in this case, you have to get the value of pi. Suppose you have to get the value of pi. How do you get the value of pi? Normally pi cannot change from one object to another object. You may write a static method, get pi. Simple example I am saying here. Public, static, double, say there, get pi. In that case, what value you can return there? You can be returning there, just return 3.14 double value you are going to be returning. So that is called what exactly? A static method. Static method is going to work like a library, whereas instance method, they are going to work with the data of the object. In the case of circle, you can have area, you can have perimeter. So one circle's area and perimeter differs from other circle and perimeter. So in such cases, area should be instance method, whereas get pi value to get pi should be what exactly? A static method. So in that case, what happens from object to object, pi does not change. Therefore, there is no point in writing it as an instance method. With the help of the get pi, you can get static data only there. So it can be 3.14. So like that, for libraries we can be using. Similarly, you have math.sqrt. In the case of math.sqrt, sqrt is what exactly? Static method, which is part of the math class. Using that, you can be finding out square root of any number. So finding square root cannot be limited to only one number there. Okay, so therefore what you do there? You build a library sqrt. To that you pass a number. It can be finding out the square root of the given number. Like that, you can use it. So when you want to build library, you can make it static. When you want to deal with the data of the object, in that case, you can make it instance. Like that, you have to make it.
Okay, Sridhar, thanks.
Anyone has any other questions, please? But interact like this, please. So if you interact, then I'll also get more and more interest. We can discuss. Nice discussion we should have every day. I expect you to be participating in this, discussing things with me like this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll be meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow we have session. Even day after tomorrow also we have session. All the 7 days we have session. Will you attend, all of you?
Okay. Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.